right now. Share this live right now. Because this is a false narrative that they want to put out here, and I'm finna tell the truth and the facts. Your government and your city and your alderman and your mayor, this is their fault and the reason why all this shit is happening. Share this live right now. This is getting on my nerves how now all of a sudden TikTok won't show my page. That's why I say they hate for you to know the truth on here. Hate for you to know the truth on here. Alright, they don't want to allow me to log in to my TikTok. They be hating. Anybody that's in Chicago right now, you ain't even got to be in Chicago. I just want you to share this video. I want you to share this video before I get to going. This is the building that ICE raided the other day. This the building that everybody want to keep lying and saying was black people. Was in this building. No, now let me not say black people wasn't in this building. Black people was in this building. But this is the building that everybody want to lie and say that it was majority black. And this is what we talking about. What your government, what your mayor, what your aldermen don't want to admit is the fact that they sold off your city for money. The fact that they was okay with getting all this funding and money and bringing these people here and then paying up to $8,000 for some of their rents. But this is what I just got directly from the property manager who was running this building. This building is huge. You can see. You can see behind me how big this building is. I just spoke to a young lady who has been a resident of this building for the last 17 years. And she just confirmed. I have a separate video that I'll upload because she did not want her face on here. She just confirmed that this building was overran by illegal gangbangers. Illegal migrant gangbangers. Let's be clear, illegal Venezuelan gangbangers. Because if you go up in the building, which I'm going to walk up in the building, if you go up in the building, you'll see it's Venezuela written all over the doors. It's Venezuela written all over the doors. So for everybody that want to keep talking about this was a black building and they came in on black people, y'all are a liar. You're a fucking liar. You're a liar. And you're spreading false information. This building was overran. Yes, black people are affected because guess what? They came and put them over here on the south side. They came and put them over here in South Shore. They came and put them over here in our communities and overran our neighborhood and communities. Look at this big ass building. So I just talked to the property manager. Make sure that ain't. I just talked to the property manager. And he just told me out his own mouth. These buildings, so they gonna make it seem like ICE did all this. ICE ain't do this. He just told me out his own mouth, the property manager, ICE ain't do this. The Venezuelan gang did that. He said some of these windows had already been busted. Some of these windows had already been busted. So yeah, when they came and raided, yeah, they did do some damage. But some of these windows was already busted, like that floor up there. That was already busted. That was done by the Venezuelan gang. So all y'all on this internet talking about they coming for black people, y'all sound goofy as hell. Cause one, you was born here, you got a birth certificate, social security card. Ain't nobody coming for you. Slow butt. Quit letting these people put fear in you and fear monger you and tell the truth. The truth is your government sold you out. Your alderman, your mayor, your governor sold you out for money. Sold you out for federal funding. Sold you out, black people. And that's why I keep telling y'all, y'all so damn caught up in a Democratic Party that don't give a damn about you when they sold you out. Because this ain't the only building over here. Like we said, who live here, South Shore is overran. It's overran. Motherfuckers on here talking about, do I live here? Do I do this? I'm standing in front of the building. Now what? Now what you got to add? Now what you got to say? And I'm standing right here in front of the damn building. And I'm going to post a video with the young lady that I just made a video with. She didn't want to put her face on here. She just said it. She been here 17 years. This building been overran by illegal gang-banging Venezuelans. So this is why this was one of the first buildings that they came to. And the property manager said that the reason why this building is the way this way is because of the squatters' rights. Because of the squatters' rights. Because of the squatters' rights. Because of the squatters' rights.
Say it one more time.
They had Venezuelans coming up in here, living in these empty apartment buildings, living in these empty apartments, and when they called the police on them to put them out, they told them that they lived here for 30 days and the police couldn't do nothing. Chicago just changed the squatter rights. Yeah. So a lot of people that's here in Chicago, been here in Chicago that got property, been dealing with this. Been dealing with them coming in and busting in and breaking into your properties and breaking into your buildings, and the fucking city telling you, oh, they can't do nothing because it's squatters' rights. Ain't no fucking squatters' rights for no people that ain't legal here. You go up in this building. I'm here. Fuck y'all talking about. No? Okay. He don't want to get in trouble. He ain't gonna let me go in. I could be on the outside though. He say I could do the outside. He won't let me go in. But this is the building that everybody want to be talking about. So yeah, Black America, guess what? You're going to see more of this because they dropped them off in your neighborhood. So while everybody's talking about they coming for black people, no, they're not coming for black people, but they are going to come into your hood. Call me what you want to call me, boo. I don't give a damn. This is my neighborhood in my city. Y'all some new ones. Y'all better recognize and understand what it is. Huh. Y'all new in this country. Y'all better understand and respect the neighborhoods and the communities and the people over here. No, that's the problem. Call me what you want. Monica, ugly ass bride. I can't be racist against nobody. I'm going to speak the facts and tell the facts like I said, period. Then come meet me over here, Monica, since you know so much. Come meet me, since you know so much, while I'm on here talking. Ain't nobody hating on you. We don't give a fuck about you. The problem is our government, girl back. Ain't nobody, that's the problem. Let me tell y'all something. Black people don't give no fuck about nobody else. Let's be clear. Black people don't give no fuck about nobody else. Bitch, it don't matter. Keep talking on the internet. Come meet me. Come holler at me. Other than that, you keep running your mouth with your raggedy ass. Weak ass bitch. That's y'all problem. Don't nobody want to hear the truth. The truth is we were here. This is our neighborhood, our community. Period. Period. Our neighborhood, our community. But your governor, your alderman, your mayor allowed this. Voted for this. This building was overran. It was not predominantly black. And that's the narrative that they pushing on this internet. It was not predominantly black when they came here last night. It was not predominantly black when they came here last night. And all you motherfucking Mexican and Venezuelans on here, I don't give a fuck what y'all say or feel. Bitch, holla at me. Holla at me. Holla at me. Keyboard typing whooping assholes. Holla at me. You see where I'm standing? Come holla at me. That's what's wrong. They expect y'all to be weak. They expect you black people to be weak and not say nothing. They think it's your community. They think it's their community because you ain't said shit. They think it's their community because you ain't said shit. They think it's their community because you ain't said shit. So these bitches on here running their mouth thick as shit sweet. Bitch, I'm gonna block you. How about that? You won't have no voice on my page, raggedy asshole. Standing right here, come meet me. What the fuck is you talking about? That's why I wanted to come over here myself and get the real information from the people who live in this building, from the people who live in this community. Because South Shore is. You see how they talking out here? Talking about this gay community. Y'all black people better wake the hell up and quit allowing people to disrespect you and your shit. And you grew up over here. Then want somebody to stand with them. Read and understand how they talk to you and how they treat you. Quit letting them pull you up in this bullshit. We ain't got nothing to do with this shit. Cause we legal. We been here. Fuck is you talking about? Our people built this shit 400 years in. Fuck is you talking about? Bitch, you new here. This is why y'all gonna get checked. This is why y'all asses gonna get checked every time. And this is why I pulled up right here to stand up in this motherfucker. I'm in South Shore. Been over here. Grew up over here. Ain't no hoe gonna tell me shit. What is you talking about? Ain't nobody spreading hate. It's the truth. And that's what y'all hate to hear. That's the truth. I never said all. And if you feel some type of way, then you feel some type of way. I don't give no fuck. Talk about look at how you treating us. Now you want to play the victim. Bitch, get off my line, whack asshole. Talking all that motherfucking shit. Get your bitch ass up off my line. Now you want to be talking about treating us and treating our people. Now, y'all need to pay attention to how these people be talking. Y'all need to pay attention to how they talk and how they get extra froggy on this internet. Like she's standing on something. Bitch, it's your community, then come meet me. Come meet me while I'm standing right here. Fuck is you talking about? Y'all always want to be tough pity on this motherfucking internet. So again, like I said, the false narrative is that this was an entire 98% black building, and it was not. It was overran. Right, call them on her ugly ass. Motherfuckers always want to play victim. Now you talking to us. Like, you saw how that bitch was talking to me? Now she on here want to play victim. Bitch, shut up talking to me. Now I checked your ass, and that's what y'all ain't used to. Y'all used to coming over here doing what you want to do. Bitch, that ain't me. I ain't that. Fuck is you talking about? I ain't even gonna address this weak asshole no more, cause she ain't on shit. Come holler at me, Monica, while I'm standing right here. Other than that, get the fuck off my line with your extra ass shit. This whole building. Most of these black people said that they had to move and leave because they were being terrorized. They were living in this building and they were being terrorized. They were being terrorized. So unfortunately, that is not the narrative that this was 98% black. It wasn't the day that ICE came here. It wasn't. It wasn't the day that ICE came here. I literally just talked to the property manager and he just told me they had several, they were squatting. And so when they called the police told them that they had squatters' rights. How do people from another country have more rights than the people who live here? Huh. Now I want to say poor connection, right? I said enough, it don't matter, they haters. How you doing, beautiful black men? I know you looking like what's going on. It's all good. So I just wanted y'all to know the truth. Because I'm standing out here for a reason. I wanted to come over here to this building and show you for a reason. I wanted to talk to the residents of this building for a reason. And luckily the property manager was standing here and just told me what it was. So the next time that people like Monica and them get to talking about staying with them, remember how they get on here and disrespect those of us who've been residents, who've been living here. Share it. I want everybody to share it. Everybody who's watching this video should be sharing it live, because the false narrative that y'all putting out here is that they coming for black people. And y'all actually acting real scared. Y'all acting real motherfucking pussy right now. You supposed to be tough titty Chicago. How you gonna allow somebody to tell you somebody coming for you? Know your rights. No one understands the legalities. You was born here. You have a birth certificate. What is you talking about? Ain't nobody coming for you. Little Monica, keep it moving and move along. Because we can clearly see the line. I don't even know you. Why would I be disrespecting you and talking to you? I disrespected you after you got on here talking disrespectful to me. Called me a fat bitch. You forgot that? Y'all love to play motherfucking weak-ass innocent games, and this is why I be checking you hoes all the time. Y'all real foggy on this internet, bitch, like I said. I've been standing here for 15 minutes. You ain't pulled up. Why you talking all that tough titty shit on this motherfucking internet? Now you want to play the victim. This is what they do. This is how Americans are. And now they done brought these motherfuckers over here and got them playing the same victim. Talking shit, and then when we address it and check your ass, now we doing something. Now you on here talking foggy, so I address your ass. Stand on that shit, bitch. What is you talking about? You scared now, right? Because you see I ain't on that shit. Weak ass hoe. Yeah, you went and looked me up to see who I am, period, bitch. Don't Google me. What is you talking about? I've been doing this shit. So your ass got here. Crossing the border, hoe. I grew up over here. This is my motherfucking land, like I said. And more black people, y'all need to rise the fuck up and stop allowing this shit, that weak ass narrative. Ain't nobody coming for you. This ain't our shit. We ain't got shit to do with that. If ICE want these motherfuckers, let them come take their ass. The fuck? Y'all want somebody to come stand with y'all. Ain't nobody standing with y'all. Ain't nobody saying shit about black people. We've been staying for 100 years in this motherfucker. Your kids getting pulled over. Your kids this and get that. I don't give a fuck about you, Monica. Google your damn self, ho. Give a fuck who you are. Y'all black sons been dying on these streets for years. Ain't nobody said shit about it. Ain't no teachers, ain't no preachers, ain't nobody having no fucking press conferences for your ass. But they downtown having press conferences to save some damn illegals. Yeah, because they spent $2 billion on them. Passed all this money, gave favorite staff and $900 billion. I was in the room. That's the difference. I'm not on here running my mouth like most of you. I actually went to the city hall meeting and saw them pass all this fucking money. This is why I've been telling y'all for 2.5 years to get up off y'all ass and speak up. Oh, but now that they done came to this building, oh, now they coming for black people. They doing this. No, y'all fuckers weren't paying attention. That's what it was. Y'all let these motherfuckers politicians play in your fucking face. That's what it was. So now your grandmama gotta deal with shit like this. People that was born and raised here should not be dealing with no shit like this, where they building overran. And guess what? I bet you ain't no black person on this building. Bet you that. I bet you when I look up who own this motherfucker, I bet you they ain't black. And I bet you they don't live here. Bet you that. Ain't no black and brown, and that's what I'm tired of y'all get on here talking about. Ain't no black and brown. Ain't no fucking black and brown. It's only black and brown when it's convenient for y'all. Now that y'all getting pulled over by ICE. Now that y'all seeing what the fuck it is that we've been saying for 50 years. Ain't no fucking black and brown, because even at City Hall, ain't no black and brown. They was giving money to Hispanics, motherfucker. They weren't giving no money to black people. And again, I was at City Hall. Go look at my phone. Go look at the last 2 years. You'll see. I've been posting videos. Been standing on business. It ain't no fucking black and brown. That's that false-ass narrative once again. Exactly. These motherfuckers don't like us. Ain't nobody getting involved in that shit. Let ICE come get whoever the fuck they gonna get. I've been told you black people that you need to learn and rise the fuck up. I've been telling you need to come down and come to my meetings. I've been telling you need to learn credit, taxes, and business and play this system. Because if every single one of y'all go and get life insurance tomorrow, that shit change. If you quit spending your motherfucking money with them, that shit change. Fuck is you talking about? Been saying that shit to y'all. Y'all don't believe shit is greasy until it happened. Now that the building done been raided with black people involved, now y'all motherfuckers wanna listen. Now you might wanna pay attention. Now you might understand why I've been so mad and upset. Why you always wanna say I'm mad and upset on here. This is why I'm mad and upset. Because I've been talking to the people who look like me for 3 fucking years and y'all ain't paying attention until a motherfucker come and raid your building. You on the internet, keyboard ripping and talking. Get your ass on the front line. Stay your ass up. What is you talking about? Your ancestors are telling you. You built this damn country. Let these motherfuckers treat you and put you in a weak ass mindset. Talking about somebody coming for you. Jamie, let me tell you. Oh, okay. Calm down, Patrice. Calm down. Calm down. Put your feet in the grass. Plant your feet in the grass. This ain't even no good grass. It's probably bad grass because these Venezuelans and they gangs up in here. But we gonna plant our feet in the grass for a moment. I need a moment of silence. Father God, I know I'm mad at my people, but I know that I have to talk to them in a way that they can understand me. I know I can't call them out their name and dumb and stupid because I'm upset. You told me I was different. You told me I was chosen. You told me that I have the voice that I have. Lead me. Lead me. Lead me properly. Cover me, Grandma.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. How are you?
All right. What's going on?
I'm back on the Bari, and I had one question. With these ice makers, could one ice maker be on and the other one not?
You remember I showed you, right? How that light. So when I can't remember when you push the display, what do you see?
When I push what?
When you light up the display, what does the ice maker light come on? The ice maker off light come on? Or you got two of them, remember?
So if I press the ice maker, it says ice maker off.
It's one lit up. press ice maker off again, what happens?
Well, the board just lights up, but
Right. Now,
okay. When I press it again,
uh-huh.
it off comes on, lights
Okay.
up.
Press it again. What do you see?
Now it says ice off.
Press it again. Do you see another light come on?
Yeah, and it says off.
Now, are both of them saying off?
Yes.
So both of them, here's the tricky part. They both could be on right now. You follow me?
Well, you know what? I just noticed something. When I pressed it the second time,
Mm-hmm.
the off, the light that came on, it looked like it had a picture of
A
the,
glass with cubes in it?
yeah, like it's the picture of the one that comes from the dispenser.
Right.
From the
Here's what you got to know.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking at two glasses with 2 cups of ice and both of them are lit up and they both say ice maker off,
Mm-hmm.
this is tricky. They both could be on right now. Okay?
Okay.
I will leave it alone for a minute. Come back in 4 hours. It's the one up top you're having a problem with, right?
Yes, the one up top.
All right, and so here's what you got to do. Come back, let it cultivate, and it should have some ice cubes in there in a couple of hours. If not, then they're both off.
Okay.
Then you turn the lights off, then come back.
Okay.
And if there's no change, then that ice maker up top is like I was telling you, it done went bad.
Okay.
Because remember we were listening to it, got a clicking noise when it was working.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes it worked, then next time it didn't, and I was like, it's something ain't right with your ice maker. And it just could be time for it to go.
Okay.
Okay?
Oh,
So,
well,
right now, both lights are on.
right.
Leave it alone. Come back in a couple of hours. See if you got any ice up there.
Okay.
If there's no ice, then turn both of them off. Come back again. If you
Okay.
still ain't got no ice, it's the ice maker. I hope that
Okay.
makes some sense.
All right.
It's
It does.
confusing. It make my head burn.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll try that,
Okay.
and I'll let you know. And like you said, if nothing else, then we looking at probably having a.
Get rid of that ice maker.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
All right. I'll let you know.
Okay, good enough.
Thanks.
Good evening and welcome to a program devoted entirely to lefties losing it. And I'm afraid the miserable miscreants of the celebrity world have had a rough couple of days. They have been railing against democracy again and uttering words they do not understand. Here is Jane Fonda.
Our industry is ready to mobilize and to resist autocracy, to resist attacks on our fundamental freedoms. We're artists, we're creatives. Freedom of expression is essential to what we do. Many of our fathers and grandfathers fought wars to defend this right, and we can't just sit back and let this happen. And it's moving fast. This isn't a creeping totalitarianism. This is fast-moving consolidation of autocracy, and that means we have to move fast.
You know what's not moving fast? Jane's face. Go easy with the fillers and the bobo lady. Good Lord, it's becoming difficult to tell a Madonna apart these days. And of course, any celebrity spouting far-left nonsense is given a platform to spew that on CNN.
He is amassing power in a way that will destroy our democracy. And And so we're going to stand up. We want to move forward with love, with unity, with solidarity, and we want to encourage everybody else in all the other sectors of this country to do the same. You know, we don't want to be a pillar of support to this regime that's forming.
You know, these people really do exist in a parallel universe. Do they think the Hollywood mindset is the majority? Do they have no respect for democracy and the fact that Donald Trump is in power because he won an election in a landslide, despite his opponent outspending him by a huge margin? Now to another dim-witted, hopelessly out-of-touch, aging celebrity who seems to think he speaks for the masses. Here is Hollywood has-been, a hysterical Hollywood has-been, claiming that Trump has a dark presence and he has destroyed America. Here is Richard Gere.
Are worried about what's happening in the U.S. Are you worried?
Of course. No, I mean, we have a president who's he's not only crazy, he's a dark presence. And it's happened so quickly. 6 months, he's almost destroyed our country.
Yes, secure borders and a return to manufacturing will destroy America. I guess we shouldn't be surprised because this is the sort of reckless neo-Marxist activism we've come to expect from Richard Gere. Remember this? It's almost an ad for illegal immigration. Watch this.
So the people that you see here on this boat, they're only here because of the donations to Open Arms, to the work that Open Arms does. And the most important thing for these people here is to be able to get to a free port, be able to get off the boats, get on land, and start a new life, be taken care of, and make a life for themselves. So please support us here.
Now to the woman who wanted to be president but failed abysmally despite spending $1.5 billion, outspending Donald Trump by an enormous margin, only to lose. She lost the Electoral College by a big margin, lost every swing state, even lost the popular vote. But somehow Kamala Harris is out there repeating a verifiable lie, claiming that 2024 was the closest presidential election of the century and Donald Trump does not have a mandate. She really is rather mad.
And here's the other thing that is quite unprecedented. And it was the tightest, closest presidential election in the 21st
Incredible. She knows that's a lie and she keeps repeating it because Kamala thinks lefties are too dumb to know any better, or she is genuinely that ignorant herself. Now, I know a lot of you had high hopes for the new Pope after the incessant leftist activism of his predecessor, but I try to warn you, Pope Leo is cut from the same cloth. At a time when Christians are being persecuted and slaughtered from Africa to Asia to the Middle East, Pope Leo is blessing a block of ice in the name of climate justice. Now, let's have a look at Meghan Markle being weird and inauthentic. Here she is swanning around like she's Queen Cersei in Game of Thrones. And let's have a look at this rather awkward encounter with Pier Paolo Piccioli. He's the creative director of Balenciaga. Oh yes, that was awkward. Let's have another look at it. The left are nothing if not thick as a plank of wood, but not nearly as useful. Let's hear from this liberal woman who seems to think that if you have a credit facility, be it a credit card or mortgage, then you are essentially on welfare. Get ready to be assailed by stupid.
If you have a credit card and you hate people who ask for handouts, You are a person asking for a handout. A credit card is somebody else's money. So for all you right-wingers who are all, oh, stop giving people handouts. If you have a credit card, you're a hypocrite. Yeah.
Oh, she got us there. How can we ever respond to that razor-sharp analysis except to say that, unlike a handout, you have to pay back the credit card with interest if you don't pay it back in full by the due date. So not at all like a handout, but our genius financial advisor was not done yet. She has more analogies.
Did you buy your house flat out? Did you write a check for the full amount for your house's value? No, you did not. You got a loan. You asked for a handout because you couldn't afford a house. The credit system is a handout. And the fact that most of you can't see this. Go back to school.
Yeah, folks, go back to school. Then you can be so spectacularly stupid that you think it's a good idea to showcase your ignorance on the internet. Now let's check in with Dylan Mulvaney, the Bud Light destroyer who mocks girlhood for a living. He's gone from posting content like this.
Excuse me, where's the women's restroom?
Sorry, ma'am, you're not allowed into the women's restroom.
Well, I guess I'll just piss on the floor. Piss on the floor. Piss on the floor. Piss on the floor. I'm pulling my panties down like a hoe, cause I'm about to piss on the floor.
Charming, yep. He's gone from posting content like that to dressing up like this. Dylan's got sick of dressing up in girl face. He's now posting stuff dressed like a man. So let me get this right. Dylan is now a man pretending to be a girl, dressing up like a boy. Sounds like a useful thing to do. Here is Dylan dressed up as an old man to promote his new show.
They have matinees. They've got matinees on Saturday and Sunday. 5 o'clock on Saturday, and I think 3 o'clock or maybe 3:30 on Sunday. Get your tickets now. Hey!
Let's hear from the mayor of crime-riddled Chicago. Here he announces that he's effectively banning ICE agents from his city, anything to frustrate the Trump administration's efforts on deporting illegal immigrants breaking the law.
And today we are signing an executive order aimed at reining in this out-of-control administration. The order establishes ICE-free zones. That means that city property and unwilling private businesses will no longer serve as staging grounds for these raids.
The Democrats certainly seem to have a permissive attitude when it comes to criminals, and it's not restricted to illegal immigrants. Listen to Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell, who thinks criminals don't belong in jail, they deserve understanding.
The criminal system has had a disparate impact on black and brown communities. Let me lead with that. So when this person is committing 6 or 7 crimes, I don't know his or her story. Maybe they were abused as a child. Maybe they're hungry. So my
How do you feel about the assassination of Charlie Kirk?
It really doesn't make any difference in the big picture who or what the mechanics were that killed him. The fact is that over the last few decades, an atmosphere has been generated in this country that makes it a viable proposition. But what somebody forgot, and why it has its differences, is that martyrs motivate masses. And it is not just a message, but who the messenger is. And if you take out the wrong messenger, you elevate the status of the message. Now, there's a great deal of debate on how the shot occurred, whether it's real, and the conspiracies that exist. But the real deal is that you've got, as I mentioned earlier or before, You've got some very highly motivated people who are fanatical about their cause, that rainbow cult thing. I'm not talking about the gay community. I'm talking about the rainbow cult that a lot of them don't like. It is highly motivated. It is the equivalent of a new religion. And new religions tend to evangelize. They come up with jihads. They come up with persecutions. They burn their witches at the stake. They are holier than thou, and they take people out, and that looks like the motivational factor for whatever elements are behind him dying. Kirk reminded me of, and with certain very important differences, of a young Jerry Falwell, who appealed to a group of people that was very alarmed about 40 years ago with how their code of conduct, their value system, etc., was getting yanked out from under them. Maybe we should have listened to them. They called themselves the moral majority at the time. And a lot of people said, oh, they're cranks, they're evangelistic fanatics and all of this, but they did have some valid points. We kind of got beyond that in one sense, and now we have a glorification of dysfunction that is manifest. We have decadence and depravity. Nobody has a principle or a purpose, and everybody seems to hate themselves and want to be something else other than what they are if you listen to mainstream media. And it's not a healthy environment. And they made a martyr out of somebody that had a very large following. A very large following had developed, and that crossed a whole lot of lines. I know some young black guys that are really upset about them taking him out. They expressed to me the sentiment that they were tired of people telling them that they were inferior to somebody that was supreme over them, and that they couldn't make it and they needed help to make it, and somebody had to take care of them, and they didn't like that. So Kirk was giving them a rah-rah on an alternative way of looking at the world. Be proud of yourself. You know, some people get great joy in life about taking care of their business. TCB. Duty, honor, obligation, accountability, responsibility. The deeper the adversity that you overcome, the more you have going for yourself. You are a warrior if you slay a great enemy. If you just stomp on somebody that is not a challenge, you haven't done anything. So he was giving people an opportunity to slay dragons in a righteous fashion, and give them a cause and a purpose, which is not what we were getting from the communications, entertainment, and news industries. So Charlie Kirk will be remembered.
How you feel about the people that call him a racist?
I don't buy it. When I take the context of what he said, I mean, think of it. Some people are just flat-out idiots. Look at Jasmine Crockett, who seems to have actually gone to school in Memphis at a very elitist private school. Rhodes College, founded by the followers of Cecil B. Rhodes, who implemented apartheid in the 19th century in South Africa. She went to, let's see, what was it, if I'm not mistaken, Thurgood Marshall Law School, which is a medium-tier law school. So she likes to play like she's ghetto, but she's not. And she is what Charlie Kirk was standing against. So if Charlie Kirk called her some things that her fans find unsavory, but they happen to be truthful, well, why not? You can say them. Plus, the other thing is frankly, The U.S. government finds nasty things to say about the People's Republic of China, vice versa. The rocket man who runs North Korea doesn't have much nice to say about the United States and vice versa. Everybody calls everybody bad names when they represent an adversary, and everybody spends a lot of money with the CIA, NSA, national security apparatuses. You have British MI6, French intelligence, Saudi counterintelligence, the Mossad, Egyptian intelligence networks, the former KGB now morphed into the Russian intelligence network the Chinese do to find out what somebody's doing on the other side. So they have critical analysis that they do, and there's nothing wrong with doing a critical analysis on anybody, and if it's true, take heed. So I don't find him being candid, and I don't find anybody has any built-in exemption from criticism. And some of what he said I agree with when it comes to some particular individuals. So I know my son and some of his guys, they got kind of aggrieved with what happened to Kurt. So I don't find him a racist. It's all in context. I mean, race in the United States of America and in the world today is inescapable, so it's inevitable that anybody that's trying to do commentary on circumstances is going to bring it up. Like Du Bois said 120-some years ago, the problem of the 20th century will be the color line, and it proved to be the case, and there's still fallout from that. Now, in the United States of America, every law that's necessary to address that problem is now in place. It's just you have to put the team together to do it. We have a push that came from the left to establish hate crimes, but I've always thought that hate crimes were an insidious danger to the republic, because if you do a historical analysis, it's interesting, but every single something that is a hate crime has been turned against the people who were supposed to be the beneficiary in 10, 12, 15, 20 years. And what it does is it restricts free speech. And if free speech offends you, grow stronger. Now, I come from a generation where for recreation in elementary, junior high, and high school, we ran the dozens on each other. Hey, man, I don't want to say nothing about your mama, man, but last night when I was over there, man, when you was asleep, man, you know, and then, oh, man, well, you know, what about your mama, man, blah, blah, blah. Now folk go, they talk about my mama, talk about my mama. Yeah, well, so what? You know, get over it. Get wittier so you can come back with your own repartee, and by the way, enhance your vocabulary so you know what the devil that is. If you take revolutionary movements, whether you're talking about Russia, the United States, way back 250 years ago, you talk about China, you talk about Vietnam, you talk about the Panther Party, the Black Student Alliance, anybody, when you're trying to get a movement, expand your vocabulary, because an expansive vocabulary allows you to communicate rather than and in simplistic forms, and it expands your ability to think about stuff. So grow up, buck up, stand up, step up, and do what you have to do. And that's the way you deal with it. The stronger and the more dangerous the adversity that you overcome, the better you are, and the more that says about you that reflects good character.
Yeah, it's being reported that the murder suspect, he was in a relationship with a trans woman.
Yeah, that seems to be it. And see, if you get it, I've been warning. In fact, last time I talked with you, I kind of warned about that. I said, you know, that side is arming up, and they are effectively trying to produce their secular jihad. I think I mentioned the last time, I said consider Buddhism. It's an ancient and honorable religion, but it has no deity. You can have one or not and still be a devout Buddhist. It's about a system and a philosophy. And that's what we get with this cult, the rainbow cult, that has now been adopted as the official theology of many states, many cities, and for a while, the United States. You can't put a crucifix, a Jewish star, an Islamic crescent, representation of six-armed Shiva or Buddha or Confucius, anything like that in a government building or a school, but you can splash rainbow all over it. You can't teach the religion or the philosophy or the theology in a school, but you can teach the rainbow cult from kindergarten through 12th grade, 5 hours a day, 5 days a week, with official sanction. So they were trying to turn this country into a place with an official theology of negativism where you can hate yourself instead of rising to your obligations and accountabilities to do what men ought to do. You don't have to be a man. You can be a woman, but you can't be a woman. You can just fake it because you can't do the things that women do. And you, in the process, screw up this thing that is developed all through the animal kingdom where the female is attracted to the male and the male is attracted to the female, and now nobody does boys and girls style watching the opposite sex because you don't know what you're looking at, but these people don't care that they're upsetting the breeding pattern for humanity. It is of little consequence to them because they hate themselves and they want to be something else. So you've got a philosophy that does not say, for example, back in the 60s, I'm black and I'm proud, or black power, or love thyself. What they do is they hate themselves and they want to be something else and take a moment to go take their children and go down like they're a pet and get fixed by the veterinarian. It's kind of crazy, but that's what we have is a counterculture that's set up. It's in minority status. Probably 3 to 4% of the population would be in support of that, but they control the means of communication, or they have friends in the communications, entertainment, and news industry, and their position is constantly pushed. And we know from the Nazis and other people that if you tell a lie even long enough and loud enough, you can get anyone, including the liar, to believe it. People used to think that if you went to the edge of the world, you'd fall off. But now we have GPS, and we can find our way, and everybody's got the app on their cell phone, so it's obvious that there's something up there in the sky orbiting around something round. So we know that the Earth's not flat, but you see, when you have a belief system, it doesn't have to be founded on reality, and that's a danger. I don't like him, but I respect his beliefs. Okay, well, why? Because the beliefs may be completely in error, and it's not tested by the empirical process of experimentation. It's not carefully developed through theory, mathematics, and careful thought and analysis. It just happens to be something somebody wants to be the reality, but does not have to be any more real than some of the stuff you get on a horror movie at a movie theater, or some of the stuff that you see in the video games. So reality is a thing that people need to get back in touch with. And Charlie Kirk was the wrong person for that side to try and take out, because martyrs motivate masses. And I think they did something that was counterproductive to their cause. And when I say they, I mean the whole movement that it is represented, and whether or not there are individuals who happen to be off on that freak side. then that's what I think. They're mentally ill. I've dealt with a lot of mental illness in my profession over the last half century, so something needs to be done for them. But we don't need to say, okay, you are an unfortunate who was born deformed and missing an arm. The solution is not to cut everybody else's arm off, but to assist you in compensating for your loss. But we don't look at it that way.
How you feel about all these people that's happy that Charlie Kirk got killed, all these celebrities?
Well, a lot of these celebrities are not what you think. See, you think of the celebrities, hey man, this is deep, man. We got to go make a move on these dudes. Yeah, man. Jamal, we going to have to make a move. We going to have to take them out. See, that's the way you think of the celebrity, right? Down. Gangster. When you see the celebrities, oh my God, I almost creamed on myself. The part was so exciting. It was so rough trade. Oh, Charlie, you should have seen it. So you see, the people that are real are the ones that are talking about the stuff that you don't like. They aren't the ones that you have in your mind's eye about the down brother, the real live action hero who is brave and courageous and proficient in firearms and martial arts, and he dares to do what no one else does. You see, the person that's playing the role is a straight out sissy that you could probably run up out of the club if you looked at him wrong. So when you see them coming out against somebody that, shall we say, was not in favor of their lifestyle and worldview, you can understand it. Plus, a lot of them are subsidized. See, Hollywood is a vicious place. That entertainment industry has an enormous amount of money that somebody can corner if they toe the line. So they're nice, dutiful little slaves. In Rome, they understood that. And it's not that they didn't like their Greco-Roman plays and dramas and comedies and such like and tragedies, and it's not like the Romans didn't go to their theaters and pay rapt attention to the performances, but they looked at actors and actresses as a low caste of people who, instead of dealing with reality, dealt with fantasy and make-believe as their careers. So you're taking people who have spent essentially their entire adult lives in fantasy and make-believe, and you're trying to act like they count when the real world is involved. They don't. They are just tools. They are called talent. And in the Hollywood industry, it's even kind of a look down on them. The hired help. Talent. Who can carry this idea into a semblance of reality. They can take sheer fantasy, sheer make-believe, sheer fiction, and they have a talent of converting it into something that people will accept as real. So the celebrity crowd that doesn't like Charlie Kirk or didn't like Charlie Kirk, I understand, because Charlie Kirk, by his very existence and what he said, was an embarrassment to their reality, which is you're just some little punk sissy who is willing to do the 7B thing, unbelt, drop your britches, drop your boxers, bend over, spread your butt cheeks, and get boy banged by some producer, director, or whatever who wants to push that. So no, we aren't impressed. You see what came out with Diddy and all that dark side stuff that he'd been up to that he did not deny. By the way, what you were looking at with Diddy was the pimp game, classic pimp game. And pimps used to suck more in the penitentiary than everybody but the pedophiles. But now, hey man, it's about pimping, man. You really want to be a pimp? Do you know what that means? That's about as unmanly and unmasculine as you can get. You are as far away from duty, honor, obligation, protecting those that you love as you can possibly be. So that's what you want. Pimp your ride, man. See, it's become part of the vernacular, so the target of the propaganda that you want to diminish himself is doing it for you because he has embraced and internalized what you've been trying dutifully to put in his head. You've made your creature. The wolf is a wolf, but the dog is no longer the dog. The wolf can feed himself as a pack structure and leadership, the alpha males and females in the wolf pack, and dogs are all betas, and they get their kibbles and bits opened by their masters and mistresses, and they wag their tails and are dutifully servile to their human bosses. It's kind of a thing. Well, look, let me put this to you. Consider this. There are a lot of black folk, white folk too, Asian folk, Native American folk. They went over to the sand pile over the last 35 years. They got shot at. They shot some people. There were some that went over in the jungles of the Nam. They put it on the line. They got shot at. They faced death. They dealt death. Some that were in Korea, some that were in World War II. You can get even to the domestic scene. There were some people in the Black Panther Party, SDS, Brown Berets, and other organizations. They went out and they faced death. A lot of them got killed in the movement trying to actualize people's rights and liberties and equality. And you had some people that came in and they pimped it. They weren't out there facing danger in the military or in the streets for the right kind of thing. They might have faced death being suicidal because they didn't want to live. And they chose death not by suicide by cop, but suicide by neighbor. Provoke your neighbor into doing you the favor of taking your life, but in the meantime, in the effort to provoke him, you might take his life or her life. So it's not a healthy thing. So you have all of these people who have never faced adversity for real, who have play acted like they do, and are in this entertainment industry, this distraction industry, the propaganda industry, to get you to think in a fashion that's not in your best interest. And that's who we look at as leadership, not as people in the real world who actually can shoulder that mantle and take that war club or that baton and say, follow me, you know, this is the way we go. And they haven't done that. They just play act. They are in the propaganda section. It's like Hollywood had all these war movies in World War II. Why we fight. So you had these Hollywood celebrities who played fighter pilots, played infantry sergeants, played tank commanders or ship captains, and they'd never set foot in a uniform for real, and nobody'd ever shot at them, but they were in the propaganda corps, and they had this imagery of great warriors. So the reality is there are a whole lot of people that are walking around that have done this, but nobody pays attention to them. They just pick these celebrities that have never been there. But there are a few celebrities that have. Okay, Isaiah Washington, he was in the Marine Corps. You had Clint Eastwood, he was in the Marines. You had the late Lee Marvin, he got shot twice at Iwo Jima. You had a very prolific actor in Western movies. What is his name? He wrote a book, To Hell and Back. The name, I'm ashamed of myself for forgetting his name. He was the most decorated soldier in American history.
Let me see if I can look it up. Hold on. He said he wrote a book called Hell and Back.
To Hell and Back. Audie Murphy. He played in 41 Western movies. He wasn't but 5'6", but this guy was a real live badass. He got Congressional Medal of Honor, the Quality Gear, Victoria Cross, everything you can think of. He got every medal as possible for an American soldier to get. Brave man. But he was in the movie. Somebody like that just playing themselves, that's one thing. But we have so many people right now who have never done anything particularly heroic that's real, and we hold them up as leadership. So, you know, the answer to what about all of these celebrities that attack Kurt, who gives a damn? Take their punk behind somewhere else and go man the devil up and do something for real and start by standing up to this Hollywood bit, which gets into what we had with a recent firing and rehiring episode, Kimmel. I don't have anything against the guy. For 5 years, he had a survey, and I came out in his survey as the most trusted man in America. Barack Obama was down number 52 the last time I was involved in one he did, and I came out number 1. So I don't have problems with him. His wife was a big fan of mine. But what happened with him was not so much quashing free speech, it was free market. See, when you have these broadcast studios, they depend upon commercial advertisement. When you see an hour-long play, if you took out a stopwatch, you would find that the industry standard is 32 minutes of commercial advertisement and 28 minutes of content. So what happens when the commercial advertisers who spend a lot of money through advertising dollars and sponsorships to have people convinced that their product should be bought, and somebody comes out and does something that defeats that expensive effort, they say, we're pulling our ads. So the studio says, okay, Kimmel, we're pulling your show because our sponsors didn't want to sponsor you anymore. So when those sponsors left, well, the man had fans within the industry, and they sought other commercial sponsors who said, well, we have somebody that's with us who likes, you know, the other side too, so we'll support Jimmy and we will re-sponsor it. So they hire him, and what they usually do is they cut back his compensation and nobody talks about it. And on the side, they can say, see, we stood up to President Trump, who's a fascist, who's trying to repress free speech. No, that had nothing to do with free speech. That was just market pressure. But you take advantage of these opportunities. And that's exactly what you got here. An opportunity presented itself, and propaganda masters say we can seize on it. We can do our things to keep the favor of our commercial advertisers. We can chastise Kimmel and pop him on the back of the hand, and everything will be all right, and we can look like we stood up to the evil Donald Trump. We can do our part to countering MAGA. So that's what you're really looking at, that kind of thing.
Tyler Perry, how you feel about the recent lawsuit filed against him for sexual assault?
I've referred to the Hollywood industry and the casting couch with the 7 B's. Remember, unbelt, drop britches, drop boxes, bend over. See, that's a reality in that trade. So with the feminist movement, everybody's concerned about the heterosexual casting couch, but not the homosexual casting couch. So that is a reality. You saw Ellen DeGeneres You know, I experienced being asked to go boost her pathetic ratings and appear on her show and watched what she did around on her set. So, yeah, I can understand how that stuff comes out. And it is a reality in what's going on. And if you listen to what Tyler Perry does, he's essentially anti-masculine. He downs straight men, particularly straight black men at every opportunity in his productions. And if you watch some of his stuff, check out some of his things. What's the one with I'm Black or something like that, where the guy is dying of some fatal disease and he runs this cosmetic firm, and his brother came up with the formula. The brother had problems with it, but the guy that made the money for the family didn't care about the fact that it was carcinogenic. It would kill people. So now that guy is trying to be gay, so he gets this plain woman who was a stripper, and he starts making her friend, and he sets it up so she becomes the person that helps run the company. So Tyler Perry's favorite subject is bad-mouthing straight men, and especially black straight men, and making them look like villains. Meanwhile, somebody gay comes in and helps out somebody that's a plain Jane girl or foolish woman, and they prosper in the end. That's what he does. So when you look at his art, do you ask, does it mirror his reality? And if somebody's got a fetish-style taste for something, is that what he's prone to do to take advantage of a situation? Particularly since so much of what he produces and directs has a psychological flavor of having been somebody who was an abused child or somebody in his youth got taken advantage of. So a lot of what goes wrong with this particular alt culture is that it has formed an alliance with people who are abusers of children, pedophiles, and such like. So you might expect to see fantasy reflecting reality and the opportunity to vest the same reality on somebody else being taken. Background circumstances.
So I take it you're not a big fan of Tyler Perry. How do you feel about him personally?
I think he's poisonous. The worst thing we've had happen is, I know Flip Wilson used to do it. It wasn't that it wasn't done, but he institutionalized this tranny thing with Medea. The industry pushed the hell out of that because part of their agenda was to legitimate and popularize and get accepted this transvestitism. It's a sickness, but they made it normal. And quite frankly, the character Medea in the real world would probably be somebody that would need a really serious beatdown for the things that were normalized through the presentation. Think about it. Oprah too. Roger King auditioned 350 women, and he picked Oprah. What he said candidly was he wanted a poster for, quote, ugly, stay-at-home female America. And she and her girlfriend Gail had been doing their thing, but the truth of the matter is, every opportunity that woman got on her show that was drafted, produced, directed, and enfranchised by Roger King was anti-masculine. Now, Roger King was an interesting guy. His father invented syndication for television. Our gang, you know, the Little Rascals, the Three Stooges, Laurel and Hardy, the old black and white movies, the old cartoons that were replayed on the kiddie shows, his dad set that up. Roger King was a 6'5" tackle of a football player who was a straight up man who liked his Jack Daniels. Great guy. But he inherited his father's business, which was known as King World. And he set upon expanding it, and he recruited Oprah. He recruited Dr. Phil. He was the one that picked her book club stuff. He's the one that ran her business, set up on, and then he died quickly with no prior illnesses of either a cerebral hemorrhage or a massive heart attack, depending upon who you listen to. He was very much into manhood and actually asked me to talk to his daughters about why they were having problems with men. One of his daughters had married a nice guy, and the other one, who looked like a beauty queen, who since died of breast cancer, unfortunately, was saying, Judge, how come I can't find a guy to go out with who's not like one of my friend girls with a dick? You know, and you see that as a real world consequence. So he discovered Oprah, he set her up, and then before she could get the foundation, he died. Now, if you go into OWN headquarters, you see some rather peculiar looking older women who represent the consortium that acquired the financial framework for what's OWN, and they run it. Last time I went in there, somebody was trying to sell a show. I didn't want to have anything to do with it, but I did it as a favor to some people I'd worked with. I saw two young black people in there. One was a gay guy that was out doing Michael Jackson and tipping lightly, and the other one was some young sister with her head shaved, a plaid shirt, bib overalls, and work boots. And they were down on the first floor, and everybody above that looked like they'd wear Birkenstock sandals. And I say that because that was a gag on a game show that I was a guest on. So that was a clue to something. But anyway, that's what it is. So that's part of the industry. Stedman, that's supposed to be her boyfriend. He lives out in the pool house, okay. Every now and then you might see Stedman at a red carpet, and what you'd see would be what we were just talking about. So anyway, it is what it is. She and Tyler Perry have done a lot to wreck what was a beautiful thing with the black movement in the end of the 1960s and early 70s. She used to work as a gopher for a woman named Nettie Stowers that had a talk TV show on WSM in Nashville. Oprah was known as Miss Bad. Bad feet, bad legs, bad body, bad complexion, bad hair, and bad attitude. She had just graduated from TSU. That was in 1973. And Roger King found her a couple of years when he auditioned 350-some women to find, as he put it, a poster child for ugly stay-at-home female America. We became friends of a sort. See, what happened is I wound up being a Viacom show along with Judge Judy. And what wound up happening is we went to Paramount Television, which was Viacom, but it was top heavy with nepotism. So to get everything efficiently, CBS got assigned my show and Judge Judy's show by Viacom, and Viacom brought in Roger King, who brought in Oprah and Dr. Phil. So he had a special CBS syndicated unit with Judge Judy, Dr. Phil, Oprah Winfrey, and Joe Brown, Judge Joe Brown. So he came to me after a few months and he said, your studio, this studio is trying to make you go away. You are their number one money maker, And do you take the stockholders? I said, I do, and that's exactly what they're telling the stockholders. I'm their number one money-making show, most profitable, and I help them stay in the black rather than the red, unlike most of the entertainment industry at the time. He said, yeah, they're trying to destroy you. He said, every time you catch up with either of them, they try to hold you back. You ever heard of that A-list, B-list, and all that other stuff? The paparazzi don't make the list. Your studios make the list. And the paparazzi and Roger King says your studio does not have you on anybody's list. So I'm going to fix that. So in a few months, I started beating Dr. Phil regularly, and in a few more months, I started beating Oprah in the ratings regularly. So for the last 5 years, I was with CBS syndication, including 2 years after Roger King died. I was either the number one or number two syndicated show in the United States for daytime syndication. And in some areas where they played me, like in the Southeast in prime time, I was number one in that. But you never heard that. All they talked about was Oprah, who was way, way below me and Judy in the ratings, and Judge Judy. And the other one that was tied with the two of us was Wheel of Fortune. So that was an old-time game show, and Judy and I, what we did is provided guidance to the American public on what was legally appropriate, and what I did was what was appropriate in a masculine fashion. Now, Judy was a little foul. She's 4'6", 4'7", weighs about 80 pounds, and she had her own little issues with her and her husband, Shineland, who took over from Mayor Koch, who ran People's Court after they revived it, when it had been under Judge Wapner for a long time. And there were all kinds of issues in that. And she was a nice Jewish mama figure for Hollywood, which had a very large contingent of Jewish participants, so they responded to that, and I was a threat because I wasn't going along with their rainbow thing, although they kept approaching me about doing PSAs for them. I said, hey, that ain't my problem. You know, you do that, but I'm not. When I first started, I can mention this to give you some idea what the flavor's about. I hadn't had my show but a month and a half, and they had a big thing at the Beverly Hilton Hotel, the Statler Hilton Hotel, on the intersection of Santa Monica Boulevard and Wilshire. It was a nice party. I was a bachelor. I'd got this show, it was successful. I'm looking at all these beautiful starlets, so I like to dance. I'm dancing with all these gorgeous women. And I ran into one that I kind of hit it off with, so we sat down at a table and we were talking, and she got up, went to the ladies' room. She came back, says, that tall guy in that gray suit? I said, yeah. He said he offered me $2,000 in cash if I'd sign a note saying you tried to feel up on me. So guess who it was? It was the CEO for the Big Ticket Television, the entity that was doing my show. So she and I went around and tracked down all of the women I danced with, and several of them said he had offered them money, but they wouldn't take it, so we got a written statement from him. So this was November 1998. The show had started in September 1998, so they'd already tried to set up this. So I hired a beautiful black woman who had graduated from Ole Miss, and I'd been her mentor, and she incidentally became the youngest licensed lobbyist in Washington, D.C., and I hired her to be my publicist. So we set up these directors and we created a fictional woman. And my collaborator started going around to some of the Hollywood types and telling them that this woman was complaining about me trying to make moves on her. Now, simultaneously, we were filing affidavits under seal with Human Resources for big ticket television. And then subsequently with Paramount Television. So they came up with a letter from this fictional woman that she was supposedly complaining about me. So I laughed about it. I had my agent come over, my attorneys, and I had my PR person, and we went over there and stormed the meeting and said, bring over the lockbox from HR. And we opened it up and we had the affidavits and how we had set them up for this scam that they were trying to pull on us. So in 6 weeks' time, all of them were gone, and I was there for another 13 and a half years. So you just have to know how to play the game that they played. And when they got me, I wasn't 19, 20, 25 something. I was in my 50s, and I'd been a criminal court trial lawyer and a judge, and hell, I grew up in Los Angeles, and I knew some of these folk that they thought were going to help them out. And it was funny. They put on a cocktail party, and they brought in all of these LA Superior Court judges, right? So I'm supposed to be impressed. I started laughing because the conversations, to their shock, started turning around. Joe, I haven't seen you. You know him? Yeah, he recruited me to law school. Yeah, he got me financial assistance for law school. Yeah, he got me a job. So you already know him. Yeah, we go back a long way. So they're taking all my friends and these juniors that I had assisted in starting on their careers, and they were trying to get me freaked out like, oh, see all the people we know and all the influence we have. See, that's the way they play that game. And you take somebody who is a naive country bumpkin, or some kid coming out the hood, or some kid that's been doing the 7B thing to get a part, and there's a female equivalent too, and they get impressed by this kind of stuff, but somebody else might not. So that's the way this industry works, and I guess that's a long way of getting around to talk about what happens in this industry. Now, I'm sure Tyler Perry is fine for what he does, and people love his work. Same thing with Oprah. She's an icon. But quite frankly, I think they have an insidious brand of mind crack that they've been purveying to various communities around this country for quite a few decades, and it hasn't done us any good. But, you know, that's First Amendment stuff, and they're entitled to do it.
You and Judge Mathis, is everything cool between both of y'all? Because I know he made some comments telling you to come see him.
Oh, he's part of that thing, too. Have you noticed at home with Judge Mathis, with all of that rainbow stuff that they push? See, Hollywood tried to get me to do the same thing. I said, hell no, you're on your own with that. I'm not doing it, but he did. See, he punked out and joined the gang, and then he says he got out when his mama got sick. So he does his thing, and one of the most embarrassing moments I ever had as a black attorney or as a black man was in front of 5 members of the U.S. Supreme Court and the Second Circuit Court of the Judiciary. They were having a judicial conference. They had invited me, Judge Napolitano, and Judge Mathis to lecture them for 2 hours on television in the courtrooms, because at that point, 20-some years ago, the U.S. Supreme Court and the appellate courts of the United States and other courts were concerned about opening the courts back up again to broadcast media. He declined the show, and he said, I'm sorry, I'm rehearsing for a gospel play. So I found that embarrassing. You're doing a church gospel play, and you miss out on an opportunity to address the Second Circuit Court of Appeals for the United States I think there are 3 or 4 former members of that circuit that are on the U.S. Supreme Court right now. The Supreme Court itself is part of that circuit for educational and continuing legal educational purposes. And you missed the opportunity to do that because you're in a gospel rehearsal. That's clown show stuff. And then that crap he does about endorsing LGBTQIA plus on that At Home with Mathis. And the fact that when I was on, I was number 1 and 2, and he was down 150, 160 in the ratings, flunkying out, doing what he did, acting ignorant. I never said anything about him, but he wanted to badmouth him because he apparently likes that Joe and Ho thing with Joe Biden and Ho Harris. And he got offended that I called his little fake negress a hoe, which she is. She's entitled to her sexual activity, but she did it for money and advantage, and that makes you a hoe if you do it for pay. Now, bottom line is he came up and said something like, if he called my wife a hoe, he'd have to answer to me. Well, I haven't called his wife a hoe, but I hope for his sake she ain't, because, you know, if you are, I might tell you what you are. So he talked and he wanted to badmouth it, and I think he was trying to deal with bravado, but, you know, he said something, I know where I can find him in Memphis. Well, you know, you want to be a fool enough to set yourself up for that, go right ahead. I thought it was foolish, and I thought it was typical, and that's why he lasted so long. I was number 1 and number 2, the number 1 money-making show for CBS that they bragged to their stockholders was making the whole operation so profitable, and he was down there. He's one of those shows that makes low-level commercial money, and you can keep on forever, and he was amenable to pushing the rainbow cult. So he did that. See, what they do is they'd invite you to parties, and you go to the party, you know, you first get in this, and oh man, look at all the beautiful women, and then wait a minute, what's that going on over there? It's a no, and you pull your cell phone out, baby, what you doing? Look here, I'm leaving this set. You know, let me drop by and pay you a visit. So I'm getting the hell out of here. And then they start inviting you back. You go back to them, not me. And see, they get you caught up in there and get trapped if you fell into that. They take your belt off, help you pull your britches down, your boxes, and bend you over, and, you know, you'd be part of the initiate, you know, that's a catechism, and you'd be helping that out so they could poison the minds of America with, you have no purpose, you have no cause, get rid of your masculinity, be emotional, and, you know, get upset, and think somebody's supposed to take care of you. So that was a poisonous thing. So, like some other people who were involved, I refused to get involved with, well, not involved, but other people who were doing stuff. I refused to get involved with that social scene in Hollywood because it's just poisonous. Just completely poisonous, and they have an agenda. So, yeah. That's Mathis. He can take his punk self somewhere else and go deal with his rainbow fixation. What is it, all his children rainbow, you know, man, what have you not been doing? They're so sensitive. But anyhow, you know, I found it funny.
Yeah, he called you a fake tough guy.
Well, I'm a man. I've tested my personal courage and bravery. I haven't let myself down. I've been in some interesting adventures that he hasn't, and I didn't run. I've done some things in the real world he hasn't, so that's okay. I don't consider myself a tough guy. I consider myself a man. I've met Muhammad Ali. I had a long conversation with George Foreman. We used to hang around, you know. He was a nice guy to hang with. I knew Huey Newton, Eldridge Cleaver, you know, all this bunch of Geronimo Pratt, a.k.a. G, some other people. I was a bodyguard for H-Rap Brown for a week. My good brother was probably one of the foremost martial artists in the world, and Black Belt magazine said he was probably the most dangerous human alive in North America. And if you want to look him up, that's Clifford Stewart, late of Los Angeles, Dr. Clifford Stewart. So we did our share of adventurous stuff growing up, and when we were around in Los Angeles. And I have been in a legal case where it was out in the country dealing with rural matters, and some stuff where we just send somebody on a motorcycle because nobody had cell phones then, and when the sheriff goes up, I got a 45 auto in one hand, the 357 in the other, in a briefcase with a court order, and the sheriff is yelling, boys, put them muzzles down, we can't have all this. What the hell's going on? Sheriff so-and-so, there's a court order over there, these people are trespassing. So yeah, other than that, so he has. Bottom line is I think I'm a tough guy. No, I just think I'm a man who stands up for his duty like a whole lot of other people I'm personally acquainted with, or was before they left us. So, you know, it is what it is.